There we
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Estrella Virtual Visit Series. My name is Allison Campbell, and I'm so excited to welcome Danny Tortelli from Columbia College, Chicago. Our virtual visit series is designed to introduce you to a variety of colleges and their staff so you can get to know the institutions in a more personal way. So thank you so much for joining us, Danny. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been at Columbia College?
Yeah, thank you, Allison. So I'm Danny. I've been working at Columbia College Chicago since 2018. And I recruit mostly incoming freshmen from the states of Ohio, Kentucky, and Massachusetts. For this year, I've worked with many other states in years past. And I also help out with transfer students too, and international students as well, but primarily incoming freshmen, domestic freshmen. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And we were just talking before we got started here that you are a fellow Ohioan, so pretty familiar with the area then.
Yes, I'm actually drinking out of a Little Italy mug today from Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, I'm originally from the Valley View area, went to Cuyahoga Heights High School. So I go back and now recruiting in Ohio. I go back regularly for both work and personal. So, yep.
Did you get to go to the feast a few weeks ago?
I did not know, but growing up, we went almost every year. And
Yeah,
I
it's a
had some
pretty
family
cool.
tied to it, and we would help out a little bit here and there too. So, yep.
That's great. Yeah, definitely a really cool cultural experience here in Cleveland. And if it wasn't for the traffic, I feel like I would check it out all the time, but it's a pain, I feel like, to get down there and to find parking, but it's such a cool experience.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
So, well, thanks for joining us to tell us a little bit more about Columbia College Chicago. And like we were talking earlier again, you are just in this vibrant big city atmosphere and you've got all these colleges around you and like competitors, collaborators, big, small, public, private. Can you tell us a little bit about Columbia College Chicago and what makes it so special?
Yeah, good question. So, yeah, we're a mid to small size private liberal arts school in downtown Chicago. My office is, for those of you who are familiar with Chicago, 2 blocks south of the Bean, one of the big touristy things you got to go
Yep.
to your first time there, take a selfie at the Bean, which is right next to the Art Institute. So my office is about 2 blocks from there. We're about 3 city blocks wide, about 4 city blocks north to south, with one other building about a mile away for our film students, which I could touch on more later. But yeah, we focus mostly on the visual and performing arts, film and television, music, theater, musical theater, fashion studies, game design, comedy studies, um, architecture, business, some strong communication, journalism, creative writing programs. But yeah, drawing, painting, ceramics, all the above. So yeah, we're a school of the arts for sure, through and through.
That's great. And definitely in a wonderful location for someone who's pursuing majors such as that. So that's really cool.
Absolutely.
So would you consider yourself like a traditional four-year campus, or how are kind of the programs set up?
Yeah, I'd say traditional four-year campus. About maybe 30% of our students are transfer students. So coming in from either other four-year institutions, but most coming from other 2-year institutions prior, maybe getting a year, a semester, all the way up to maybe an associate's degree, and then transferring in. But yeah, we are for those students looking to complete their bachelor's either from the onset or transferring in. Yeah. And we do have about
Okay.
6 or 7 grad programs as well. Those ones I'm a little fuzzy on as it's a separate admissions office, but I know a tiny bit about the grad programs we offer too.
Okay. Well, you answered the question I was just about to ask because I was going to say, do you offer, graduate programs in the arts? So definitely. And we're undergraduate focused, so we'll stick with that as well. So I won't quiz you on those.
Fair.
But as far as the four-year programs and like how your students are coming to you being in Chicago, are you a residential campus or are your
Mm,
students usually finding places off campus to live?
good question. Most of our students, I would say, are commuters, whether they are from Chicago, just staying at home and commuting, or they are coming from out of town or what have you and living off campus, a place they found. Most of our underclassmen do live on campus.
Okay.
Just over 70% of incoming freshmen choose to live on campus each year. Um, at no point is it mandatory to live on campus. I do strongly recommend it for any out of town student because you're not only getting used to college life, and especially me coming from a town like Cleveland, you're getting used to a big
Hmm.
city, and you are
Yeah.
you are downtown in the big city. So I think that first year living on campus, at least the first year, is just helpful to kind of get your bearings, get more comfortable with everything. Um, but yeah, there are some students who start freshman year who've done extra homework and found a place off campus to live. They are welcome to do that. But yeah, I'd say we're mostly commuters, but the majority of underclassmen do live on campus. After that first year or two, vast majority of students, you have your friend group, you're more comfortable with the city, whether it's 2 blocks away or 2 miles away, folks will find other places to live off campus.
Okay.
But and then the
I mean,
last thing
that's
I'd say is,
okay.
I was gonna say, sorry, there are some who do stay on all 4 years. So
Okay.
for any who are curious or wondering, that is a possibility and that does happen too, just not a ton.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I think that's one of the questions we get, especially in a more urban campus environment, is about the housing,
Hmm.
because it can be very expensive and it could be kind of
Yes.
sketchy sometimes when you're leaving your 19, 20-year-old to their own devices to find an apartment or who are they living with and, if they can afford something, but it's miles away and they have to commute. So I would love that that's an option for your underclassmen students, especially those that maybe aren't from Chicago and they need some time to adjust. But if you are someone who just wants to be in that like closer campus environment, that you can stay on campus all 4 years. So it's really good to know.
Yeah.
Kind of going, maybe we're backtracking a little bit back to application. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that process? Like, are you on the Common App? Do you have an institutional app? And then also, I feel like with a lot of the art schools that we focus on, there are supplements like a portfolio, an audition, things like
Mm.
that.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, we can get into it. So we are on the Common App for sure. Um, we do have our own application on our website as well, whatever's easiest for the student. The one on our website, students can, if need be, request to have the application fee waived. And that's handled directly from us for the one on our website. I'm pretty sure Common App may have a separate process for students who want an application fee waiver, but that's managed by Common App.
Okay.
Um,
That's on the institutional app only.
yep.
Okay.
Going back to the institutional app really quick, we also have two what we call express apps. So
Okay.
they're not only a little bit more mobile friendly, but they are also automatically they're without a fee. Um,
Okay.
and so it's an express app for transfer students, for both freshman students and transfer students. Yep.
Okay.
So I could share those links if you'd like. So you have the
Okay.
links to those apps. But
Yeah, you can email them to me afterwards and I'll
perfect.
make sure I put them in the notes.
Awesome. Um, yeah, so most of our majors are at the BA level, Bachelor of Arts.
Okay.
Um, and similarly, a few, pardon the acronym, BS, Bachelor of Science. Um,
Hmm.
but for all majors at the BSBA level, a thing like a portfolio is not mandatory. However, if a student already has even a little bit of experience in the thing they want to study, I would recommend they submit a portfolio. Um, it won't change their admission to the college or not, but
Hmm.
by submitting a portfolio in this BSBA path, it puts them in the running for an additional talent-based scholarship.
Okay.
Now, some of our majors are at the BFA level, Bachelor of Fine Arts,
Okay.
and similar B Muse, Bachelor of Music.
Okay.
For those majors, the faculty are looking for students to have a certain level of experience already in that thing they want to study. So a portfolio is mandatory for a BFA or B Muse student.
Okay.
And depending on the type of BFA or B Muse, especially if it's performance based, so yeah, all the B Muse programs and BFA in acting or musical theater, it'll be a portfolio plus a pre-screen audition interview. There'll
Okay.
be those types of things required as well too.
Okay. That's good to know. I'll write that down.
Yeah,
Um, so how would a student submit the portfolio? Do you use Slide Room or some other type of software?
good question. So After a student applies to Columbia, they actually get access to an application status portal we call Columbia Connect. So on the portal, they can, as the name suggests, they can check the status of their application. And when it's ready and goes live, that's also the same place where they can upload their portfolio items digitally.
That's
Um,
nice.
yep.
Is there a fee for that to upload? Because I feel like that's sometimes like, oh, we'll waive the application fee, but you need a $45 slide room fee or whatever accepted, I think was the other one that I saw.
Oh, yeah. I've actually
Not
hadn't
not
even
for
heard of
yours?
that before. Yeah,
Okay,
no, it's free for the portfolio submission. Yep.
great.
Um,
Yeah. Can
yeah,
add up definitely. All the fee waivers, all the portfolio submissions, asking people to send your ACT or SAT scores places. I mean, our poor parents, they're,
yeah,
$1,000 in with some of our students with just application fees and supplementals and all those things. So I appreciate that you're trying to make this like a one-stop shop and very affordable for your
yeah.
students.
And actually, on
Um,
that note, you touched on something really quick. You mentioned the SAT and ACT.
mhm.
We are test free. So
Awesome.
even if a student tries to send in those scores, we can't and won't use them either for admission to the college consideration or for any merit academic scholarship consideration. Um,
Okay.
that was kind of, I know I have some other
No,
stuff
that's good. I
related
was
to
going to
that.
ask you that anyway,
Yep.
so I appreciate you mentioning that. That's really
Yeah.
cool. I was just working with another school, working on some application outlines for another school, and they were test free and kind of went down that rabbit hole earlier this morning. So
Yeah.
that's great. Okay, let's talk about student life. So obviously, the students that are coming there, they're very passionate about the arts or whatever field that they're pursuing. But tell us a little bit about the campus community.
Yeah. So it's a different campus. I mean, we're a vertical campus. Like I mentioned earlier when I said we're about 3 blocks by 4 blocks wide because we're downtown in the third biggest city of the country. So we don't have the big grassy lawns surrounded by a forest, and it's a bustling, busy area. There's Grant Park right next door, public park. We unofficially kind of use as a quad, if you will. Um, but yeah, lots of things for students to do and get involved in. Over 70 clubs for them to choose from,
Hmm.
whether that's student government, residence hall association. We're not a division anything sports school.
No
Um,
sports.
we do have sports clubs though.
Okay.
Um, so at the club level, indoor soccer, flag football, volleyball, stuff like that. We do partner with some of the other colleges and universities in the downtown area for some intercollegiate club level leagues. Um,
Okay, cool.
so that's the closest we get to any big, sporting events. But it's fun. So for those looking to do it just on the side for fun, stay in shape, on the sports side, that's kind of our extent. Otherwise, a lot of more artsy or nerdy, sort of clubs, D&D clubs, manga,
Hmm.
video game clubs. So on the club level, lots to do.
What about Greek life?
Not officially
Okay.
recognized by the college or to my knowledge as any of the existing clubs either. Um, but maybe in some capacity, it could exist in the future. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Um,
How about let's talk a
yeah.
little bit about outcomes. So students are coming
Yeah.
there, and I think, there's so much value in an art school, especially the students that just like live and breathe their craft and their art. Um, but I think sometimes there is pushback from parents of like, what are you going to do with that degree? Like, what's the outcome? What's the ROI? So can you tell us a little bit about
Mm.
what the Columbia students are doing while they are in school at Columbia? Like what type of opportunities, internships, and then maybe a few examples of what they're doing beyond graduation.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit kind of like the philosophy of those things first, and I can share some of the stats too at the end of that
Okay.
question. So about 15 or so years ago, the college across every department and major did a huge review and overhaul of because this question has been around for a long time with the arts and will they will pay my bills and have them be able to pay for my own food, all that stuff. Um, so about 15 or so years ago, every department and major made a point to instill more transferable, business-oriented classes and skills just within the major itself. And so that's a win-win on its own. So that students who, let's use film as an example, they will, of course, learn the craft of making movies, but they'll also learn, hey, how do these studios, these production companies, how do they keep their own bills paid and lights on? So that's one
Hmm.
win. So you know more about the thing you're walking into, how its gears turn. But then the other side of the win here is that not every student breaks into the industry as a star right away after they graduate. So they
Hmm.
need to keep their own bills paid and lights on. So they have some of these transferable skills to market themselves for any job in the meantime, if they need a year or a few just to kind of get their footing set and then break in later down the road, which does happen. So with
Yeah.
that said, and I use film as the example, but that was across every major. Um, so with that said, we do a 1 year follow-up study, survey of alumni and where they're at. So the most recent one we still have is for students that we polled about a year ago. So probably in the next couple weeks or months, we should have this newest class. But um, actually, I take that. So a year and a half ago, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, of those who responded to the survey, 96% are either employed or are continuing education,
Okay.
so maybe an additional bachelor's, a master's, what have you. Of those who are employed, almost 70% of them, their job is related to what they studied.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's probably not the same statistic across like other four-year non-art related institutions. I feel like a lot of people have a degree and then they do something completely opposite of what their degree's in.
and the other thing too is that it's also learning even a lot of these business things as it relates to your field. You may learn about, that we tell students a lot, the adjacent roles that maybe first didn't come to mind, but is still related to the thing you want to study too. Um, so a student may want to study fashion design and they want to be a person making their own clothing or dresses or what have you. But then after they're in it for a while, they're like, yeah, the making it is so so. But you know what? I've also been pretty good at photography. I want to be the
Hmm.
photographer at the runways or at the companies doing their advertising shoots for the fashion or what have you. So it's once you're in it, realizing similar but slightly different things as well. That you're like, hey, this is still the field I wanted to be in, but just the specific job wasn't exactly what I had originally had in mind, but I felt this other thing that I really love too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that does take to just kind of come from experience. Like when you have something visualized in your head that you're going to be this great film producer, but then you see what some of the other people do, and maybe the kind of your situation changes. Maybe if you have a family, like you can't be doing the travel anymore, or you just really like being behind the scenes and doing some of the creative work versus being the one like telling people what to do. So it's pretty understandable. Do a lot of students have opportunities for internship or experiential learning?
Yes. Um, on campus in the classroom, most of our majors and departments like to brag that we are what a lot of other schools can't do until they're at the grad level. So very hands-on, learn by doing in the classroom. But then even outside of that, yes, most of our students at Columbia will do at least one internship before they graduate. Many students, whether that's one that's, oh, it just lasted a semester or a year, many students will find one that's like, oh, yeah, I just did a small one over spring break or over summer. We have students who go to South by Southwest every year for our various music business students and learning like live events and stuff like that and how to run those. Um, so, yeah, large and
Okay.
small, many students will do at least one.
And do they have help through like a career services group or like an internship placement program at Columbia, or are they kind of tasked with figuring it out on their own?
Yeah, good question. So the Career Center on campus is a huge help for sure. So they will help students find, places that not that we have formal agreements with or partnerships per se, but just ones that historically we have sent students to that we have just a long-standing relationship with,
Okay.
as well as the Career Center plus our strong alumni network. is incredibly helpful. Um, this is a true story. It happened this past spring. I was in the office one day, and our student worker was like, "Hey, there's an alumni here who wants to ask about where to, he has maybe some internship opportunities for a film he's making." And I was like, "Well, he came to the wrong office, but I want to talk to him." So he was a
Yeah.
film alumni of ours from the 80s. He's worked on Shonda Rhimes TV shows. He's worked on Marvel TV shows. He was coming to town to make a documentary for the first two um, African American were they osteo? I forget where in the medical field they were, but they were like the first two in the field, and that's gonna haunt me. But he's like, I'm making a documentary for them. We're doing a big gala this summer in honor of them. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be in Chicago most of the summer. And I know when I was a student back in the day, alumni would come on back, and that was a huge help for me to be like, yeah, oh,
Yeah.
got an opening, come do it, be a PA on my thing. So I connected into our career center, and they were off to the races. So the alumni network is regularly reaching back out, whether it's the thing they're currently working on or place they work at, or someone they know in the field. They're like, yeah, let me make the connection. So yeah, um,
Yeah.
that happens
It's a
regularly.
great opportunity for your students because I'm sure they're just willing to work hard. And I think a lot of people in the arts, you have to grind. I mean, they know that it's not going to be something
Mhm.
that's handed to them, and there's going to be a lot of, pushback or rejection, or like you said, not being a star right away.
Yeah.
And just taking I feel like anybody that I've talked to in that industry has just said like they really had to like pay their dues and be curious and take any opportunity that they could get to get experience, even if they knew it wasn't going to pay particularly well. So I appreciate, I'm sure that that guy came back and, was offering that opportunity to your students because I'm sure he knows too the quality of the workers or, the work that he'll receive. And, obviously they'll be working hard because it will not only help him, but look good on a resume, maybe open doors for the future, get great hands-on experience. So that's definitely a win-win. I'm sure that's a good way to keep your alumni engaged and help your students as well.
100%. It's very Do a lot of our students end up, and talking about famous alumni, I know that question's coming up in a little bit. Do a lot of students end up in prestigious and highfalutin and like really, powerful and cool positions eventually? Yeah. But most of them need to start really by doing the blue collar Midwest sort of just networking and working with one
Hmm.
another and the grind, like you said. So the networking part is huge. And between the faculty, the Career Center, and the alumni, the networking opportunities are there for students to take advantage of.
Yeah, I want to circle back to something you had mentioned earlier, and we were talking about like the business of the arts and whatnot. And you had mentioned too, just like helping students stay afloat, because I think when you're in
Yeah.
Chicago, it's expensive. When you're in in an art or music or film or theater or whatever it might be, like you might not be making any money and you're working a side hustle to kind of like keep yourself afloat and whatnot. So I appreciate kind of just like tying that all together. Like we're preparing our students that they're not going to be the star right away. Like you need to put your time in, you need to like do the hard work, you need to like get your hands dirty. You might need to do something on the side for a little bit to, get it going. But if you stay the course and you stay consistent and, stay hungry, it'll definitely pay off.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, you kind of called it out anyway, because we're about rounding up to our 30-minute mark here. And you took my you didn't say wouldn't say stole my thunder, but you knew the question was coming because I wanted to prep you on it. But do you have someone from Columbia College Chicago that you would say would be your most like interesting or famous alumnus?
Ooh, there's a few if I can cram them
Okay,
in.
go for it. Yeah,
Um,
you got it.
we're going back in the day. Janis Kamitsky, he is one of, I think I pronounced his name correctly. He's one of Spielberg's favorite cinematographers going back to like the 80s. Um,
Okay.
There is also related to film, Lena Waithe, a little bit more modern, I would say. She's an alum of ours from, I think, '06. She is the first Black woman to win an Emmy for comedy writing for the show Master of None on Netflix, which she both
Okay.
wrote and starred in that episode. She also is the executive producer of the show called The Chi on Showtime. And
Okay.
she made a point to make sure that show was actually filmed in Chicago, in the neighborhood she grew up in the South Side, so that representation was real, and also to bring in more employment opportunities nearby. 80 Bryant, and now SNL alum, but she was a comedy studies student of ours, did our partnership with Second City in the Chicago area, where classes
Cool.
there counted towards her Columbia degree too, and then went on to be an SNL star. Um, who else? Even more recent, there's a hip hop artist, Charlie Curtis Beard. He has over 1 million followers on TikTok. He is both himself a performing artist and he helps other artists produce their work too. So he does have the producer role as well. Um, oh gosh, their name escapes me, but a winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, or a finalist at least. I think they won, but they may have been a finalist. Oh, it's gonna haunt me. But they're Chicago native, and they're a Colum alum as well. Um,
Okay.
a whole
Kalam
bunch of
alum. I love
others.
that. It's a good play
I'm a
on words.
big video game person myself, and a journalist covering the video game industry, Isaiah Colbert. They were a star journalist student at Columbia. We're actually the editor of our award-winning student newspaper, the Columbia College Chronicle. I only just discovered that like a week ago. I've been following this guy for a few years, and he mentioned, "Oh, I remember when I got to interview this star back when I was a student," and he shared a screenshot of our school newspaper. I was like, "Wait, you went to Columbia?" So like, yeah,
That's funny.
big and small, all over the place. Yep.
That was a very diversified answer, which I really appreciate that it's not just like only music theater or only film. Like you've got people across the board that are doing big things. So I appreciate you highlighting them.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Danny. This was really insightful and helpful. And again, just to have a little bit of I mean, we do a lot of like just traditional four-year colleges, big and small, but to have one that's more focused on the arts, and especially in the Midwest too, because a lot of even though we are based in Ohio, we serve students across the US. But a lot of our Ohio students do look at Chicago, and I think it'll just be really helpful that we can share this with them as well as our our school counselor friends and other IACs. So we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Allison. I appreciate you giving me the space and would love to connect with you all going forward.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Danny. Enjoy the rest of your week and best of luck with your recruitment season.
Thanks. Our happy cycle to you as well.
Thank you. All right. Take care, Danny. Thanks.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.